We rise, we shine, magic rising strong and free.
While some questioned whether they deserved it or not, Prince Harry and Meghan stood on stage in New York City accepting the Humanitarian of the Year award. But this wasn't just another celebrity appearance. This was the culmination of years of groundbreaking work that has literally saved lives. Work that began long before anyone was paying attention and continues long after the cameras stop rolling. Over 3 transformative days in New York City for World Mental Health Day, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex didn't just attend events, they sounded the alarm. They brought communities together and they proved why mental health advocacy isn't just part of their work, it is their work. Let me take you behind the scenes of what really happened in New York and show you the extraordinary story you probably have not heard entirely. Welcome. This is Majesty Sussex Report, and I'm Antonio. Thank you for spending some of your valuable time here with us.
Voices proud in harmony, truth forever crowned in gold. Our story lives, it can't be told. We rise, we shine, magic in our time. We rise, we shine. This crown is yours and mine.
Picture this: an intimate reception at the Australian American Association. Prince Harry sits down for a conversation about men's health, and what emerges is devastating. American men are dying at 75.8 years old, ranking the United States 27 out of 31 developed countries. Men are more than twice as likely as women to die from heart disease, 250% more likely to die from drug overdose. Behind every statistic is a father who never mentioned chest pain, a brother who hid addiction, a son who believed asking for help wasn't masculine. But here's what makes this moment so powerful. Prince Harry doesn't just cite statistics, he speaks from over a decade of work with veterans, of sitting across from men who believed they were completely alone in their struggles, only to discover that every man in that room was carrying the same weight. The biggest barrier, he said, is the belief that no one will understand. Loneliness convinces you you're the only one, which is rarely true. This is a man who has walked the walk. Through his Invictus Games, he's witnessed what happens when strength is redefined, when vulnerability is respected, and when recovery is celebrated as courage. He's seen the transformation when someone finally says, I've been there too. And here's the kicker: young men, the ones who need help the most, are being raised by algorithms instead of real mentors. They're seeking guidance online and finding digital spaces designed to maximize outrage and division, not support healthy development. They're out there seeking it, and that's not what they're getting back. Prince Harry warned. This isn't theoretical. It's not theoretical at all. And especially, it's not theoretical for him. because the very next day, he and Meghan would accept an award for their work fighting exactly this crisis.
In a city built on big dreams and even bigger ambition, one truth remains: success is never built alone. For too long, we've watched how men in business have mastered this, making deals over dinner, sharing opportunities over a game, and opening doors for one another in rooms we can't always see. This dinner series is about making that energy ours, about women coming together to share openly, trade resources, and help each other get shit done. Because when women choose to collaborate, to champion each other, and to speak honestly about the highs and the hard parts, we don't just change our own stories, we change what's possible for every woman who follows. Here's to more seats, more voices, and more women leading, building, and owning their power. A heartfelt thank you to Kelly Wersler for opening up her stunning home and hosting us. The setting made the night feel even more special. Thank you at Shorten007 plus at Shop with Google for bringing this night to life, and to everyone who made it magic. Plant-Based Dinner by at Camilla, Marcus Wine by A to Sever Official, at Meghan, Wine Styling at Style, Me Maeve Glam Met Beauty by Crystal Lipstick, a Lorenza Calderon Hair, Look by a New Bottega plus a Tuzel.
"4,000 families." Let that sink in. 4,000 families pursuing legal action related to social media harm. And that's just through one law firm. That's just the families with resources to fight back. How many more are suffering in silence? That's the question. When Prince Harry and Meghan accepted Project Healthy Minds Humanitarian of the Year award, they weren't just being honored for good intentions. They were being recognized for creating something unprecedented: the Parents Network. Let me tell you how this began, because it's a story of incredible compassion and persistence. In 2020, while the world was locked down, Harry and Meghan were researching. They were consulting with Stanford University experts who had identified something alarming about social media's impact on young people. They were meeting with families whose children's lives had been destroyed or ended by online harm. And they didn't just commission the study and moved on. They didn't just give a speech and collect applause. They sat with grieving parents, they listened to their stories, and they understood something crucial. These parents didn't just need therapy, they needed each other. They needed a community of people who understood their specific grief, their specific rage, their specific determination to make sure no other family suffered what they suffered. So in November 2022, Harry and Meghan launched a pilot program. By August 2024, the Parents Network had begun a global support system, serving families across the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Think about that evolution. In less than 2 years, they built an international movement. But here's what makes their work so urgent. Recent research found that when researchers posed as children on AI chatbot platforms, they experienced harmful interactions every 5 minutes during a 50-hour of observation. Can you believe that? Meanwhile, most teenagers and about 10% of children aged 5 to 8 are using these AI chatbots, and only 1 in 3 parents even know their child is using them. 1 in 3. These are parents who knew passcodes, who talked about devices and social media profiles. Harry and Meghan explained. They were engaged and loving families, and it still came for them. At the gala, they announced the Parents Network was joining forces with Parents Together, massively expanding their reach and impact. This wasn't just about supporting grieving families anymore. This was about preventing the next tragedy. Laura Marquez Garret, an attorney with the Social Media Victims Law Center, put it perfectly. You didn't just create a support network, you created a movement with your kindness and refusal to give up. A refusal to give up. Remember those words.
The countless parents that you support and empower every single day. It's their friends and family. It's the lawmakers they meet with, the children in classrooms where they speak, and the thousands of new families SMVLC has been able to help because of your choices and your actions. You did not just create a parent support network. You created and sustained a movement with your kindness and your refusal to give up. You made the world a better and safer place, and you did it in a way that will continue to give no matter what happens next. So, for these reasons and so many others, no one is more deserving of tonight's honor and the title Humanitarians of the Year than the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Thank you for being here tonight in support of Project Healthy Minds, our partners at Archewell Foundation, and the true leaders in mental health access. Tonight, we're all here together to focus on what remains one of the most pressing issues of our time. Let me share a number with you. 4,000. That's how many families the Social Media Victims Law Centre is currently representing. Families whose children have been harmed or lost forever to social media. 4,000 cases at just one firm. And that number represents only those parents who have been able to link their child's circumstance to social media use. Parents who have learned legal action is possible, who have the capacity to pursue it while grieving, and parents who found their way to help in the fight back against some of the wealthiest, most powerful corporations in the world. And even after this, there may be no road to closure for grieving parents because these companies refuse to disclose their child's information and activity on their platforms. If these deaths and harms were unintended consequences 10 years ago, what are they now? This is a pivotal moment in our collective mission to protect children and support families in the digital age, and we cannot do it without you.
Our children, Archie and Lily, are just 6 and 4 years old. Can you believe it? Luckily, still too young for social media, but we know that day is coming. And like so many parents, we think constantly about how to embrace technology's benefits while safeguarding against its dangers. And that hopeful intention of separation is rapidly becoming impossible. Now, 2 years ago, we first spoke publicly about the work we've been doing with parents around social media's devastating impact on their children. There was no better place to share this than on World Mental Health Day with Project Healthy Minds. Their dedication to expanding access to mental health support is exactly what we aim to do by building this community called the Parents Network. We launched this program a year prior, after we had been tracking the effects of online harms more broadly in 2020. We were doing the research, we were meeting with experts at Stanford who had been trying to be heard on the findings that they knew were troubling and that would only worsen. And our work continued for years, quietly, and then in 2023 we connected with the Social Media Victims Law Center. We met with a group of American families whose lives were forever changed by the online harms that ultimately created the tragic fates of their children. And in that first gathering, it was clear that for all of these families, meeting others who had endured a similar experience was comforting, but more than that, it was unifying. We felt the collective strength of this community coming together to heal and feeling compelled to act in a much more public way, which is what we began to do. Together we can and we will build the movement that all families and all children deserve. We know that when parents come together, when communities unite, waves are made. We've seen it happen, and we're watching it grow. And with your support, we'll continue building a safer digital world for all of our children. So on behalf of my husband and I, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you, all of you, for your support, and thank you for standing with us as we continue this vital work. Thank you. We appreciate it.
It's time to say thank you. Thank you to those who have donated to the channel financially. A very big thank you to Callie Jen Calivegni, Lydia Washington, Jean Go, and someone. We appreciate your donation very much. Thank you for your support to the channel. Additionally, I would like to thank our royal court, our members. Thank you very much for believing in this channel. Thank you very much for your contribution, not only financial, but all the other things that you do. It's much appreciated. Your Majesties.
The love and the lies, the calm and the chaos. Adventure is waiting, dreams for the taking, it's all in view. The tension and ease, the wild and free. The moment is waiting, dreams for the taking, it's all in view.
Today is more than just about conversation. It's about
The next morning, Harry and Meghan opened the world's largest gathering for World Mental Health Day, the Project Healthy Minds Festival, and delivered a message that cuts through all the noise. Mental health is not an individual problem, it's a community responsibility. Prince Harry opened the programming with words that should make us all uncomfortable. These are not separate problems for separate people. They are interlocking injuries to our global community. Mental health is shaped by public health, foreign policy, climate policy, corporate design, and economic choices. Too often, decisions made by a few powerful actors ripple across the planet and into every aspect of our lives. This is system level thinking. System level thinking. This is understanding that you can't just tell someone to be more resilient. When the entire digital ecosystem is designed to exploit their vulnerabilities for profit. The Archewell Foundation sponsored 3 panels throughout the day, each one centered on a crucial insight. The most effective healing emerges not from services alone, but from communities of shared experience. Meghan introduced a panel and shared what 3 years of foundation work had taught them. The parents who lost children to social media didn't just need therapy, they needed other parents who understood their specific grief. When these parents came together, they weren't just sharing stories, they were creating a movement. Community informed practices, trauma informed care, parents turning their grief into advocacy, letting love fuel their fight for change. Throughout the festival, the Lost Screen Memorial stood at the entrance and on the rooftop. A visual reminder of the lives lost to online harms. A reminder of why this work.
You just got me. How's everybody doing today? Well, we are so thrilled to be here to support, of course, what is happening in this space and on this very important day with Project Healthy Minds. So for this next panel, we're going to turn to one of the most urgent questions facing families today. What's happening to childhood? And how and what do we do to allow our children to just be children? 3 years ago, we had met with families whose worlds had been absolutely shattered. Parents who had lost children to social media-driven suicide, others who had lost so many of their children to struggles with depression, anxiety, self-harm, all inflicted by online harms. And you heard some of that in the first panel with Katie, who we met 3 years ago with her mom. And just so proud of you, Katie, if you can hear me backstage, and how far she's come. So in this sit-down that we had a few years ago, what began as individual tragedies became the foundation for the Parents Network. Now, this was a community that grew from a small pilot in November of 2022 to a global support system serving families across 3 countries by August 2024. What we learned in these moments is that these parents, they didn't just need therapy. They needed other parents who understood their very specific grief. And when they came together, they weren't just sharing stories, they were creating a movement, and they did it quite well. Utilizing trauma-informed practices, parents created strong bonds and offered healing support through community. They turned their grief into advocacy, and when they let love fuel their fight for change, we saw tremendous impact. This community power is crucial to protect our children's mental health online. And we partnered with Girls Inc. for a program called Half the Story to reach young girls in underserved communities. We were addressing everything from body image to online safety. We saw the same thing happen. They weren't just learning about digital wellness. They were creating communities of absolute resilience. So the conversation that you're about to hear will help us better understand the scale of what we're facing, and more importantly, what we can do about it. Because while the research is sobering, the solutions, as we've seen firsthand in the past few years with these very brave and resilient parents, the solutions are within reach, especially when parents, advocates, and communities all come together. So I'm honored to...
Now let's zoom out, because what happened in New York wasn't isolated. It's part of a comprehensive strategic approach to mental health that Harry and Meghan have been building since founding the Archewell Foundation in 2020. Their mission statement is beautifully simple: show up, do good. Most of you know it. But the execution, that's sophisticated, multifaceted, and deeply effective. The Archewell Foundation's mental health strategy. 1. Online safety and digital well-being. The Parents Network addresses the intersection of child safety, mental health, and tech accountability. Veterans and military mental health. That's number 2. Through Invictus Games and ongoing veteran support, providing community for those who served. Number 3, youth mental health. Partnership with Girls Inc. and Half the Story, reaching young girls in underserved communities, addressing body image and online safety. 4, men mental health. Harry's work with Movember, tackling the specific barriers men face in seeking help. 5, mental health during humanitarian crisis. Panels and programming addressing trauma in conflict zones and disaster areas. 6, access to care, supporting Project Healthy Minds, supporting their goals to connect 10 million Americans with mental health services. This isn't scattered activism. This is a coherent strategy attacking mental health challenges from multiple angles, always with a focus on community-driven solutions and system change.
My world was small, sky and ground, a spinning top, a laughing sound. My kingdom was the backyard tree. The only like I needed was from me.
The screen adored the worlds of light. At first it made the dark feel bright.
But build a net beneath the wire of kindness, our one true desire. Let our voices clear and strong, sing a different, gentler song. For every heart that feels alone, a love that's deep, a solid stone. We'll be the shield, we'll be the light, to make the endless scrolling night feel safe again, and warm and true.
We'll build that world
for me and you.
They sell me rage, they sell me shame, a highlight reel I can't reclaim. I shrink my soul to fit a frame and whisper a forgotten name.
The one I was, the boy who knew the simple feel of morning dew. Now algorithms chart my fear
taught not just how to use it, but how to survive it. We will build a net beneath the wire, with compassion, love and true desire. Hear our voices brave and strong.
This is our new enduring song. For every heart that's braved the fight, we offer love, we offer light. We'll be the shield against the harm, with open hand and open arm. This world is ours to make anew. A kind of space for me and you.
For me and you. Ooh, for me and you.
Here's what some people don't want you to understand. Harry and Meghan aren't just advocating for mental health. They're challenging power structures. When they walk and talk about changing the incentive structure of social media platforms, rewarding connection and empathy instead of exploitation, they're talking on trillions of dollars. These companies, trillions of dollars. When they bring together parents who lost children and help them find their voice, they're creating accountability that these companies desperately want to avoid. When Harry speaks about men's mental health and redefines what strength means, he's challenging centuries of toxic masculinity. This is uncomfortable work. Uncomfortable, difficult, because you're going against the entire society and the structures that hold all of this up. It's unglamorous work. Much of it happens behind closed doors, in grief centers, in research meetings, in policy discussions. But it's also life-saving work. Philip Schnermer, to forgive me for mispronouncing your last name, founder and CEO of Project Healthy Minds, said it clearly. Their leadership, generosity, and unwavering commitment to advancing mental health awareness have made a profound difference in the lives of so many. Made a profound difference. Present tense. Ongoing. So when people ask if Harry and Meghan deserved the Humanitarian Award, they're asking the wrong question. The right question is, why isn't everyone doing this work? Why aren't more people with platforms using them to amplify grieving parents? Why aren't more public figures challenging tech companies on their harm to children? Why aren't more foundations taking a holistic strategic approach to mental health that addresses root causes instead of just symptoms. Harry and Meghan didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for it to be convenient, popular. They saw crisis, multiple crises, and they started to build solutions. They took their own pain, their own struggles with mental health and media, the consistent harassment and abuse that they suffer, and transformed it into purpose. That's what humanitarianism looks like. Not perfection, not having all the answers, but showing up, doing good, and refusing to give up. Now, I'm not going to get in much into it about these three wastes of humanity. Probably this Thursday, little Tony will get into it. But these three people thought that what Meghan and Harry are doing and the Humanitarian Award that they received was laughable. They somehow think that this is just a computer thing, something about kids and computers and bullying. Who knows? Who knows what it's about? It is absolutely deplorable, disgusting, these waste of humanity. And just to symbolize, to illustrate the rot happening in the United Kingdom, there is this. This man-child that you see playing with toys is William Sitwell. You see, William has a problem with the dinner that was hosted by Emma. So, William, who is supposedly a food critic, decided to not criticize the food, but rather had a problem with the women. So, Mr. Sitwell's article is not about food, it is about fear. The panic of a man watching women gather, strive, and lead without needing his permission. He begins with sneers and ends with scorn, mistaking wit for cruelty. What he calls the ghastliest, most grotesque, most vulgar dinner in history was in truth a circle of women, entrepreneurs, creatives, mothers, coming together to discuss empowerment and sustainability. But through his lens, empowerment becomes vanity and fellowship becomes self congratulatory adoration. In other words, women supporting women must somehow be obscene, according to this man child. Oh, how telling. For centuries, men have held their own banquets, their own clubs, their own smoky rooms, and other things where decisions shaping lives were made. No one called those gatherings vacuous. But the moment women do the same with vegan food and grace instead of cigars and brandy, the knives come out from the man child. Sitwell mocks veganism, derides conversation about soil health, and trivializes the work of women who have built global brands from scratch, man child. His column drips with the familiar mix of envy and insecurity. The sort of derision that cloaks resentment and irony. What bothers him is not the food, nor the setting, nor even Meghan Sussex. It's the freedom on display. Women unbothered by the male gaze, unapologetic, successful, refusing to shrink. That is what he finds grotesque. And of course, Meghan Sussex must be the lightning rod. In the British press, she has become a mirror, and some men cannot bear what they see reflected. Jeremy Clarkson comes to mind. Sitwell, like others before him, makes her the symbol of his irritation. It is easier to belittle one woman than to confront a cultural shift. What he and those who publish him fail to grasp is that this kind of commentary, if you want to call it that, is not harmless. It teaches boys that ridicule is power, that contempt is culture, that women who lead deserve to be mocked. It feeds the very sickness we see happening today across across social media, the dehumanization of women in public life. What men like Mr. Sitwell never seem to understand is that their contempt doesn't simply evaporate into the ether. It lands, you see, and it festers. It seeps into the minds of young boys who are watching, learning what manhood is, what it's supposed to look like. When ridicule becomes the currency of male culture, empathy goes bankrupt. And when the voices of aging cynics mock women's progress, they also mock the young men who might have want to evolve with it. Those boys, uncertain and impressionable, are pushed instead towards darker corners. Online spaces where insecurity is weaponized and misogyny becomes a badge of belonging. The results are everywhere. The rise of the far right movement, chat groups filled with vile, disgusting things, digital dens where cruelty masquerades as strength. This is not witty at all. It's not harmless. It's a contagion. Every article like Sitwell's helps normalize the sneers, and from that the jeers and that grows into shout, that the shouting turns into shoving, the shoving turns into hate, abuse. This is not criticism, Mr. Sitwell. It is a smear with a byline. And to his editors, when misogyny is dressed in adjectives and printed for amusement, it remains misogyny. Journalism is meant to hold truth to light, not to drag women back into the shadow. So, yes, Mr. Sitwell, congratulations are in order. Not for Meghan, but for you. You've managed to turn a simple dinner about connection into a spectacle of resentment. The only thing truly tasteless, sir, and I say that because my mom raised me with manners, the only thing tasteless about that evening was your prose. You and your kin and your kind are the ones keeping the society back. Your kind is what's creating these conflicts. Your kind. Grow up. Three days in New York City. One conversation about men dying too young and suffering in silence. One award celebrating years of building community for grieving families. One festival bringing together thousands of people committed to changing how we think about mental health and connecting it all are two people who understand that mental health isn't a PR campaign or a trending hashtag. It's about real families facing real crises and the communities we build to help them survive and eventually thrive. As Meghan said at the festival, while the research is sobering, the solutions are within reach, especially when parents, advocates, and communities come together. The solutions are within reach. That's the hope Harry and Meghan are offering. Not empty optimism, but evidence based hope built on community, advocacy, and unwavering commitment. So, yes, they deserved that award. But more importantly, the families they serve, the veterans they support, the young people they protect, they deserve champions who won't stop fighting. And that's exactly what they do. Mm. Well, and there you have it. I wanted to talk a little bit about Prince Andrew and all that's happening there. I mean, it took up the weekend news, and so many of you said at the time when the announcement came out that he was relinquishing his titles. There was no relinquishing of anything, right? And I'm happy that in my in my little um, updating you folks, I said unless we see Parliament do something, right? Nothing has changed really. But what this goes to show us is that what we know about the royal family and the firm, what they do is they attack, discredit, right? Get their allies in the press to destroy a person's reputation or a person. We know this. It's not anything new. Anyways, I don't want to talk anymore about that. I'm sure you folks are fed up of it. I just hope that there's some kind of justice. I don't know what kind, but we can just hope that these egotistic, entitled men don't continue to get away with the harm, the evil that they've done. Um, it's amazing to me also how the UK media continues to look at the work that Meghan and Harry does. I mean, they're not stupid people, unless they are truly stupid people. But to to mock, to literally mock mental health and the extraordinary job that the Archewell Foundation, Family Network, Parent Network, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan are doing. It's just deplorable. Deplorable. And then they have the audacity to say, well, we can tell you so many things that William and Catherine are doing. They're very involved. We can list a dozen things. List them then. List them. Please do. Go ahead. List the dozen things that they're doing. These people are just the scum of the earth. Scum of the earth. May God bless them. Yeah, I think I need to shut up now because I am so late in uploading this. So my deepest apologies again. I always underestimate the time that this is going to take. I love you folks. Thank you so much. If this is your first time around here, please subscribe. And for those of you who are watching the advert and the commercials, thank you. I appreciate it. It makes a difference to the channel. The channel gets, I don't know what, like a penny or something like that for every advert that is seen or watched or something like that. So if you can, please continue to watch them. You don't need to watch all of them. Just watch a couple and it would be greatly appreciated. So remember to share, like, comment, all that stuff that the algorithm wants to do. And folks, I could not thank you enough for how you've received that song. We know what it feels like. That song was written as a poem, and as I said, it took me a while to kind of get the right tune and rhythm to it for it to be converted into a song, and it has. And you folks have received it with such I don't know what the word is right now. On TikTok also, it's just, I think it's got something like 4,000 or 6,000 likes. So you can join me over on TikTok also, and it's the same name, Majesty Sussex Report. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for 2 years, folks. 2 years. Can you believe it? 2 years. I love you folks so much. Thank you for the privilege. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. Bye for now. Mwah.
My world was small, with sky and ground, a spinning top, a laughing sound. My kingdom was the backyard tree. The only light I needed was from me.
The screen, a door to worlds of light. At first it made the dark feel bright.
But building it beneath the wire
Of kindness, our one true desire. Let our voices clear and strong. Sing a different, gentler song.
for every heart that feels alone. A love that's deep, a solid stone. We'll be the shield, we'll be the light to make the endless scrolling night
Feel safe again and warm and true.
We'll build that world
For me and you.
They sell me rage, they sell me shame, a highlight reel I can't reclaim. I shrink my soul to fit a frame and whisper a forgotten name. The one I was, the boy who knew the simple feel of morning dew. Now algorithms chart my fear, and all I see is not enough here. So building it
Beneath the wire of kindness, our one true desire. Let our
for me and you.